The sun goes down, but the truth stays bright. We're building up the nation on a Thursday night. From the shores to the stage, yeah, we're keeping it real. Sehon Marshall's got the vibe and the late night feel. Ladies and gentlemen, it's another Thursday night, and thank you for joining us on Up Late with Sehon Marshall covering the issues, the development, and the heartbeat of the nation. Now, here's your host, Sehon Marshall.
And good night to all those of the fantastic viewers of Uplate with Sehon Marshall. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening to your favorite Thursday night show, Uplate with Sehon Marshall. I'm your host, Sehon Marshall, and I'll be here with you for at least another 90 minutes or so. And I know many of you have been looking forward to tonight. So, yeah, we're here. And oh, yes, and we're covering all of the issues that are affecting us here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I am just doing what I usually do and share live, So let's see. I'm copying that, and I am making one more share. I am going to my my Instagram to share that. Somebody just tell me, yes, you're not coming just now. Look sharp, look sharp, look sharp, look sharp. Yeah, it's a beautiful Thursday night. Sun goes down. By the way, I want to tell you that soon I'm going to launch a promo on this show. Right? Good night, Soldier King. Listen, Soldier, you owe me the tail end. That's all I gotta say. Right? And of course, remember I tell you, whenever you come on, you just simply see where you're logging on from, and I'll try as much as possible. Once I look at the screen and I see who is logging on, I'll be able to shout you up from wherever you are. Let me just say, I want to. Okay, before I get to the promo part of it, all right, Alex Antoine, good night. Um, Let me thank all of you for tuning in. Let me ask you to please like and share the live. If you are viewing on YouTube, just copy the link and put it on your any of your social media. You could put it on your WhatsApp story. You could put it on your um, Instagram story and so forth to other people. You can even send it as a direct message so that other people can see the program. Okay, so Alex is from Atlanta, Georgia, and I believe that we now have direct flights with Delta from Georgia. So Alex, whenever you're coming home, you'll be able to do that directly thanks to the AI. Anika, I know you're logging on from Anika. So you're back out through and through. Ricardo, don't know where you're shouting from. Omelita, don't know where you're shouting from, but good night to all of you. Just keep sharing it, sharing the program so that individuals can, be a part of tonight's program. Those of you who have been supporting, not just by sharing and commenting and liking, but also financially, I want to thank you for that this week. There were a number of contributions that came in, and I want to thank everyone who did that. And please continue to do it. It's your contributions that keep this program on air because I'll tell you something, these programs are not, free to produce. The platform alone cost me quite a few hundred US dollars, close to 2,000 EC dollars for the year. Yep, believe it. So that has a cost and other things as well. So every dime that you give assists in keeping this program on the air. Not just this program, because remember, we also do Present Please, and Present Please has been really making waves. And it's amazing that such a harmless phrase, something that all of us grew up saying as children, when they call your name in school, as they mark the register, you say present please. I met a really good friend of mine. Well, more than a friend, because this is someone who's a lady who's much older than I am and more of a mother figure. Her son and I went to school around the same time and so forth. And I met her at this really nice cafe. I'm not going to give any free advertisements for the cafe, but I met at this really nice cafe. And when I walked in, she said, present, please. And when she was leaving, she said, class dismissed. And it was such a beautiful moment. You know what I mean? So I want to really thank all of those persons who meet me and encourage me. I met a lady yesterday. I was standing up just outside Korea's, and a lady walked up to me. I'd seen her pass. We had crossed paths all in the day, but as I was standing there, the lady came and she looked at me and she said, "Excuse me, are you Sehon Marshall?" And I said, "Guilty as charged." And she shook my hand. She took my hand and she shook my hand. She said, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." She said, "That's all I could say right now. And you know why? Thank you, thank you." And we stood up there and we talked. And she expressed to me how she had stopped listening to radio for a while, but now she started back, and she listens to all of the programs. And there are many individuals who tell me that from on a daily basis that listen, present please, I listen to everything. Whether it's present please or uplate, I listen to everything and I look forward to these programs. And you individuals who support, not just by liking and sharing and so forth, but also financially, help to keep these programs alive so that other people can enjoy the programs as well. So I want to thank you. I really want to thank you. And as I thank you, I want to encourage you not to stop giving, not to stop supporting, because uplate, present please, we need your assistance. All right, we need your assistance. Now tonight, I want to try something. Yes, we see Vermont, we see lots of Simmons, we see Fairhall. Call drink my boy. Good night, good night, good night. So we see a lot of Doreen Edwards. Good night as well. So I see quite a few individuals. Now tonight we're going to try something a little bit tonight, and I hope it works out. But you see the number that's there. It's on air and it's WhatsApp 491 9465. I'm going to try to have an interactive session tonight as we talk about a number of things that's affecting savings and earnings. So I want to try and open up the line so that individuals can call and express themselves and we can have a conversation. All right. So please don't be afraid if you think you want to try to call tonight, and I'm just 784 is the area code, and you have 491 9465. You can try and give a call if you are so uh, inclined, so motivated to do. Now, I was saying earlier that I want to start a promotion, a promo, uh, maybe in another 2 weeks or so. All right, in another 2 weeks, I want to give you a chance to sing the jingle of Uplate. Sun goes down, but the mood is right. I want to give you a chance to learn it and sing it. And I think we're going to do it live on air. We're going to do it live on air. And the first, maybe I would say 5 individuals to sing through, right through, with each with themselves a uplate with Sehon Marshall mug, like this one. All right. So listen, start to listen to, start to listen. Let's let you, you're here and you're early. Start to listen to the jingle, start to learn the jingle, because very soon you'll be getting marks for the jingle. You'll be getting marks for the jingle, and you might well be able to get yourself an uplifted Sehon Marshall mug. All right? All right, so let me jump right into the program and get straight onto it after we've gotten all of those things out of the way. There are two things I want to talk to you about. And let me make a quick note of them so that I don't forget them. Um, I want to talk to you about the state of our economy, and I think it's slow. So that's one, state of our economy. And also, I want to talk about the situation in North Leeward where there is some sort of activity going on there. So we're going to talk about the North Leeward activity. North Leeward activity. And with the North Leeward activity, which I'd come to later on, I want to maybe do the first 45 minutes with both of them and give you a chance to call and express yourselves. I want to deal with the economy that, in my view, has gone to snail's pace. Snail's pace. Now, I want you, soldier, you absolutely cannot compete. You absolutely, completely cannot compete. Is there a problem with the song? Not, well, people are talking, so clearly not. But soldier, you can't compete. You can't compete. So there's one person that can't compete is soldier. Forget it. Forget it. Forget it. Forget it. And I'm going to tell you guys why. Because soldier is who did the jingle. All right? That soldier is who did the jingle. So he can't compete. Right? Now, is there a problem, director? Sorted? Seems that we have a little problem. I'm not sure. I'm going to wait and see what the director says. I'm going to see what the director says, if there's a problem. And the problem is it with the visual there. Story to where we are. That's important. That's important. The New Democratic Party criticized, as was their right, the Unity Labour Party administration about their handling of the economy. I remember the opposition NDP criticizing the government for not doing enough, not doing more, not doing what to do with the economy, with the private sector. When we had COVID, oh, you're not doing enough. When we had volcano, you didn't do enough. You need to do more. You need to act immediately. You're out of touch. All those were things that were said by the NDP in opposition when the ULP was responding to different situations. They were not satisfied with any action that the ULP took. It was either too late, too short, not enough, and so forth. There was no response that I could remember of the previous administration that's currently in opposition that was seen as being adequate. No, I using words like excellent and so forth. I using the basic words adequate, enough, satisfactory. There was when we had COVID, I think the government went and did a $175 million supplementary something. And according to the NDP then, it wasn't adequate, it wasn't satisfactory, it wasn't enough. I want to remind you that during that period, you had income support for farmers, income support for fishers, income support for artisans, income support. I mean, people were income support for the elderly, income support for van drivers. There was clearly a slowing down of our economy because of COVID, because of volcanoes at different periods, and the government responded. But according to the NDP that was in opposition, it was never enough. It was never adequate. It was too slow. It was too late. It was inadequate. It wasn't good enough. People were in pain. People were in suffering. And after pointing out the inadequacy of the solutions proposed or implemented by the government, they then said, we could do better. They then told you, we have a plan. They told you an NDP government will do X, Y, and Z. Now, one of the things I recognized when they were offering their proposals, their plans, what they would do, one of the things I thought immediately was that these were just abstract, and not filled with any real concrete substance that were measurable. It was just pie in the sky. Oh, we have 4 pillars, and we would infuse in the economy, and we would, by the way, as I say, we go. The lady I met yesterday, she said, you speak properly, but even when they infuse the dialect, I could get it. You know what I mean? So I represent for that. They said we would do this and we would do that. Nothing concrete and measurable. And that's, I think, one of the ways they were able to manipulate the minds of Vincentians. They were always abstract with nothing measurable. And what you're noticing now is that as they're in office, whatever elements of their plan they proposed that were measurable, they failed. And by that, I can talk about the reduction of VAT from 16% to 13%. That's measurable. That's failed. I'll give you a double salary. That's measurable, specific. It's failed. We'll double the poor relief. Well, I've given them that because at the time when they made the announcement, poor relief was 250, and they have carried it to 500. But the truth is, by the time they got to office, it was 350, and it should have gone to 700. But the specifics that they gave, we will reduce VAT on electricity. Failed. That's specific. It's measurable. So when you look at any of the specific and measurable promises, and I don't want to use the word promises, but measures that they promised or they made, they failed at all of them. The majority of what they said, what they promised, were all abstract. But it didn't stop them. They kept telling you that they had the answer. Now, many of you are on YouTube right now and you're looking and you can comment. Those of you who can't comment on YouTube, if you want to send a message, you can send a WhatsApp message. The WhatsApp number is on the screen, 491-9465. You can WhatsApp me. I'll get your message. I can read it as much as I can. I'm told that the Facebook has no sound. Right? Well, come over to YouTube. Not sure why Facebook has no sound. No. So they gave you a number of abstract things for you to take and run with, and many Vincentians ran with them. And I ain't going to relive that. I ain't going to relive that. So they made the promises. They told you things would be better. They told you they knew how to make the economy boom. Now, strange enough, okay, somebody said that they couldn't hear on Facebook. So, Pack 2392, maybe it's your Facebook. So if you can it, maybe, or make sure it's not muted, because Alex says they're hearing on Facebook. All right, so check your Facebook. So they told you what they would do. They started with a bang. They had their VAT-free day early December, I can't remember which day it was, the 19th or thereabout. And then by the end of January, the first con was realized, where they promised you double salary, but they gave some people $2,000, $1,500, some got $60-something, some got one something, and so forth, right? Right. So the first con of the NDP was the end of January 2026. And people were expecting, and I think are still expecting, that the NDP government would create a buzzing economy, because while they were in opposition, they seemed to have all the answers. But anyone who is around Kingstown, anyone who is across this country, would notice that there is a significant slowdown. Jeff, good night, in our economy and in economic activity. Significant slowdown. I first started noticing it in the traffic. The traffic that comes into Kingston and goes out to Kingston, comes into Kingston in the morning, goes out in the afternoon. The mid-morning traffic at 10:30, 11 o'clock. Just last year, it was difficult to get into town in a quick time during what we call rush hour in the morning. You would spend 45 minutes in traffic from Kingston to Annesville on afternoons and so forth. That doesn't happen anymore. It's either we have less cars, and the data wouldn't bear me out on that, because when you look at what is happening and the cars are coming in, hundreds of cars are coming in every month in St. Vincent and Grenadines. So we do have less cars. We have more. As a matter of fact, even Friday have more cars, because the office of the Prime Minister had two, G7 and G77. Now they have 141, 114, 411, G1, G whatever. So they went from two vehicles to about six now. So I know more vehicles in the country. And that is evident even from the office of the Prime Minister. Right? Now, it's a good question my partner asking me there. How do I explain? There are a number of things I can put forward for that. And they may not all be right. Actually, none may be right, because all I have is my opinion. Talking to people, I believe that there are a number of things that contributed, things like just the general mood for change. I think people at some point have decided, they wanted to try something different. So it didn't matter what the NDP said, it didn't matter what the Labour said, they just wanted something different. I believe that there was a movement there that resonated. I believe also that many Vincentians thought that we are at a particular stage, and you know what? Any party that comes in will build on what we have. As it was easy or reasonable for them to believe that, listen, our country, our economy is at a state already. We are already at a certain level. We have airport, we have hospital, and so on and so on. Any government coming in, what's the worst it could do? At least take us to at least one step. No Vincentian expected that there would be such a slowdown in our economy, because they believed we had already gotten to a certain stage that slowdown wasn't probable. It was possible. But nobody saw a slowdown because, listen, we don't put everything in place. The foundations there, or people are educated, people are trained, we have the port, we have the airport, we have the infrastructure and so forth. We would just be moving. Flights are coming in. Listen, no one is expecting flights to stop. People are expecting more flights to come. That was the thought. Now, think about it, eh? By the middle of last year, we knew that Delta was coming in December. And Delta is here. You realize so far, we've not heard from the NDP government and the Ministry of Tourism about any plans for any additional airlines. This is 2026 now. This is 2026. We have improved hotel spaces. We have Carnival coming. We have festivals. And up to now, listen, the airport opened in 2017. Between 2017 and 2026, that's 9 years. Now, I want us to consider that there was a period of time, 2019, 2020, 2021, COVID, and then there was volcano and so on and so on. So things were impacted. So if you take out of the 9 years, maybe 3 years for global turmoil and even now local turmoil and so forth with volcano and thing, you have 6 years. Well, I think because it's 2017 to 2025, which is 8 years. You take out 3 years, 5 years. 5 good years since the airport opened. Yeah, Cal, You're American, you are JetBlue, you are Delta, you are Air Canada, you are Virgin. Am I saying one? See about 6 airlines. 6 airlines. And as like I said, by the middle of last year, you knew the announcement was made that come December, we were going to have an additional airline, which is Delta, coming out of Atlanta. So you see the growth, you saw the expansion. So far, this year, we are in June, and we've heard talk from the Ministry of Tourism and the Minister of Tourism about tourism and the numbers, and he ain't going, Kishore say he ain't going to continue, not know the other gentleman, he even call him Carlos' name, the other gentleman started. But what have you initiated? What airline are you negotiating with? What airline can we expect to come by the end of 2026 or by the middle of 2027? We hear nothing. We hear nothing. Right? So we knew things were happening. We knew, according to Boeing exactly, that Beaches was going to start $500 million US project. We knew that Marriott was going to start. We heard about the possibility of hotel development in Cumberland. We heard all of those things. We heard nothing from the NDP, you know. We heard nothing concrete from the NDP. And now they're in office, we're not hearing anything from them. They've discontinued a number of things that the government started and had planned, but they've not introduced anything of their own. They've not introduced anything of their own. And what that has done is that it has created a significant slowdown in our economy. Listen, I said this before, and I'll say it again. Someone said to me, Mr. Marshall, I live country, and I used to have to leave home early by 6:30 to reach the town, reach to work on time, because the number of trucks that were already on the road kept me back, kept slowed down the traffic. You were all, as soon as you get past one truck, you end up in another line with another big truck. There were so many trucks on the road. He said, no, I could leave home after 7 and still reach to work on time. Because there's no truck on the road. No truck is on the road. Of course, I know it's hyperbole, because you mean zero. Of course, you could pass one of the trucks, but the volume has significantly shrunk. Shrunk, big time. I know truckmen who tell you, boy, my truck park up for the past week, for the past 2 weeks. Nothing. They scrunted now for work. The car brakes tell anymore. Because trucks they about now just rest down. I was told of someone who ordered a truck and had to go back and tell the person, listen, when the truck comes, sell it, because I don't think I could go with that anymore, because nothing happened. The construction boom that we had has withered. And that's not because the construction projects are no longer there and have dried up. It's because the NDP, the new government, has decided to discontinue a number of them that were government driven. And then you hear nothing about the Sandals and the Marriott and so forth. That's where we are. So the trucking ain't as lucrative a sector anymore. I'm in town every day, every single day. And I walk up and down town a lot. People go see me. Somebody tell me I'm wicked. Cause sun hot, 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 and we have one black suit, hold you walk up and down. It comes with the territory. So I walk up and down. From the uptown, down to the family court, down bottom town by Randy's down there. I go to pass that by the magistrate's court. I'm up and down. I'm up and down. The place dead. The place slow. I met a comrade who said to me, listen, see, Anna, I want a store. And I could give you the mall. I could give you the name of the building. Well, not mall really. It's a building that has a number of stores in them. In it, rather. People tell me, I did in the store last week, one day last week, comrade, I sell $25. $25. That's what I sold for an entire day. This is somebody who has to pay rent. Someone who has to pay utilities, water, light, because you're AC and so on and so forth. You gotta pay salary, at least a wage. And you're making $25 a day, at least for that day. Yesterday, I could call the partner name. I coming out of the courthouse, the high court, after 11. So about 20 past 11. I saw my partner Phil. I'm just about to leave the. I find once I'm coming back from what is the high court, the magistrate's court, family court, whatever, I would stop at Phil. Have a pack of nuts. So I'm coming out of the high court to cross the market to go by Phil to have my usual pack of nuts, my early morning protein. Because I don't have breakfast, eh? And I try not to eat anything before midday. So I go by Phil and I have a pack of nuts. As soon as I step out, I see Phil in the vehicle. Phil see going home. So, but an emergency Phil her after 11. Now it's lunchtime, Phil going home. So instead, I went to the office and so on. And I met Phil today. Phil said, Sehon, as I did sit down, falling asleep, nothing happening. I did sit down, falling asleep. Nothing is happening. I walk down to Phil, and the usual people who bring on the tables and the tent and so on there, sometimes they're not there, and they will tell you, Elmi can't come every day anymore because nothing happens. Sometimes they come and nothing happen. But when someone is paying an employee to come to a tent, and you bring them out Monday, they sell liquor drop. You bring them Tuesday, they sell nothing. You still have to pay them for Tuesday. And I'm being told, even on a Friday, at least you expect a little uptick. Nothing. Nothing. Senior counsel, good night. My senior counsel. One of my senior colleagues. Nothing. So I sit by Phil and I'm talking to some friends there, and I'm explaining to them the conversation I had with the lady who has the store in the building. I'm saying, listen, man, I just talked to a lady, and the lady telling me last week, one of the days, she only sold $25. My friend said to me, she lucky she sold 25. She said, Sehon, I have a store, and I know my friend has a store. Nice store. Nice store. She said, Sehon, the last sale that I made was in February. The last sale I made was in February. Now keep in mind, this is Monday or Tuesday we're talking about there. So she said February. This is June. Between February and June, you have March, you have April, and you have May. You have March, you have April, and you have me. And the last time a sale was made by my good friend was in February. That's how slow things are. Now, there are quite a few individuals who choose to cheerlead for the NDP, and that is there, right? That's fine. But what I can tell you is this: a lot of the people you see on social media who are cheerleading are people who are least affected by the policies of the NDP that's causing the slowdown. Now, somebody came on one of my posts and made the point, a long post about government cast down the economy in 6 months and whatever. It's amazing that whenever you criticize the government for anything, it ain't their fault because it's 6 months, but that doesn't stop them from taking credit for things in 6 months. So in 6 months, they can take credit for stuff. They could take credit for the salt plant and this and that and whatever. They could take credit. But in 6 months, they can't take blame. Right? So the person said to me, nah, it can't be the government. That decline started a long time. I can't just take your suggestion because you say it must have started a long time. Oh, you know what? You're right. It must have started a long time. Based on what? But I have the evidence in front of me now. You remember those of us who followed, and I don't make a point about that. I don't make about that. You remember one of the famous questions that used to ask every time you come to the house? Eh? What is the fiscal outturn? What is the fiscal outturn? Every time with Parliament, what is the fiscal outturn? Well, unfortunately, this NDP government ain't even having Parliament, so we can't ask what the fiscal outturn be. And Kadir right. Karaoke spot's dead. My good partner who was on here on the program a while ago had a nice karaoke spot. I used to go by there. Sing, you know I love karaoke. The voice ain't as good as when I used to sing for the Lord, but I love karaoke. I keep asking him, buddy, when the karaoke starting back, I want to come sing. He's dead. Remember one of the programs and also on President Please, I made the point that one of the ways of addressing the debt to GDP situation is by expanding the economy, growing the economy. And Godwin Friday always criticized the ULP for not growing the economy. But I want to put up something. I'm going to send it to my producer so I can put it up just now. I'm going to send it to my producer so I can put it up just now. Right? When you see this slowdown that is occurring in St. Vincent right now, these are clear signs that we will be lucky to have any growth this year. And I know people are going to seek to blame the previous government, but you can't blame the previous government for no growth in a year following growth in 5 years previously. In the last 5 years, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, we grew. You take over. You are the whole of 2026. Let me see some growth now. Tell you, boy. I tell you, Kadioi, I go see this. Some people might know what I'm talking about, but I go tell you this. For the last 5 years, our economy grew. I follow me. For the last 5 years, the economy of St. Vincent and the Grenadines grew. In the first 6 months of the NDP administration, our economy turned grew. I hear me? In the last 5 years, our economy under the Unity Labour Party grew. In 6 months under NDP, already our economy turned grew. I know them grew. The young people, if any young people watching this, see, I don't know what I talk about. I don't know what I talk about. Watch me. I pong ever pong Google now. Google now. I pong ever pong Google now. We went from an economy that grew to a grew economy. That's what we know. Eh? But the certain opposition and they had all the answers. They know everything. Oh, the government ain't doing this, the government ain't doing that. Well, do now. Do. Instead, now they have face hard times. Times are hard. Gas going up, no relief for consumers. Light bill going up, no relief for consumers. Prices going up in the grocery stores, no relief for consumers. You package something and come tell me about relief. Which relief that? The economy hard. It not grow. Nothing not happen. I was walking through Middle Street 3 days ago. I guess because people are sure they would give me, eh? Oh, you could say President, please tell you blue. That's not the word they go use. And I go back in the door. And the different thing and so on. They go talk till you piss. So I'm walking through Middle Street. It was almost 5 o'clock. And merchants were packing up and I heard, usual, people actually did little talk and thing. And I remember smiling to myself and going, but hold on. That woman they watch what give me. I never know she sell $20 worth of goods. She what give me. I don't even know if she sell $20 worth of goods for the whole day. She going home after a long day. And I even sure she was able to buy a pillow. How things tough. And a sell. But she actually what give me. You know what she told? I just smiled and I went my merry way. I remember I thought of the scripture in the Bible where Jesus, when he was on the cross, he said, Father, forgive them, for they don't know what to do. Not me and Jesus, but I thought of it and I thought, oh man, you here on the street suffering because you're not getting on them sell, but you what give me because of politics. That's what give me. I am pretty sure I am in a position better than you. But that's what give me. Our economy is in serious decline. As I sat over in Chinatown yesterday with a group of people and we were just talking. And all of them, shops were closed, some were open, but they all complaining how dead things are. All of them. And there is no pride to be had from shouting 14-1. When you're stuck in a shop, sit down, not going away. There's no pride in it. I'm not sure if you think there's any consolation to be had as a merchant sitting in your shop with hardly any customers when you can't even sell $20. What a thing for the day. But you want to shout 14-1. How is that benefiting you? How? How is that benefiting you? But that's the economy we have. Listen, whether it is vendors in the market, people who sell in Middle Street and so on tables, people with small shops, whether it's on Chinatown or in buildings across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. even the larger merchants, supermarkets, and so on, the majority of them are telling you things are hard. As I drove from Kingstown to Chateaubelair last Wednesday, and I left Kingstown just after 8 in the morning, heading to Chateaubelair. When I got to Spring Village, I didn't drive through Spring Village. I drove on the bypass road behind Binlex, so I didn't go to Spring Village. So I can't talk about Spring Village. But as I entered Coastal, the first shop day, just before Wakisha, our grandmother, gone, shop closed. To cut a long story short, I did not meet a single shop open before I got to Chateaubelair. I drove through Coleshill, I drove through Trumaka, I drove through Rosebank, I went from Darkview into Pittibedell, over to Chateaubelair. And I did not meet a single shop open. That is, I'm talking between 9 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. I did not meet a single shop open as I drove through North Leeward. I didn't meet a single person on a block sit down, a group of boys on a block sit down. No way. No way. When I got to Chateaubelair in Mission Corner, there was a big group of preschoolers, easily close to 100 of them. There's some big buses were there. I know they were probably going on a field trip, so they were congregating there. And so two shops in Mission Corner, Blinking shop and another shop there, they were both open. Only three shops, yes. All three were open. But that was the only place from Coleshill to Chateaubelair where a shop was open. And I'm from North Leeward. I remember when I used to teach plant school and so forth. You know, when schools call in, the shops will stay open between 9 and 10:30 because they're going to stay open until recess. And after recess, then they close to probably open back for lunchtime. There are some that would open up right until lunchtime and close at lunchtime and open back maybe around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. But shops would be open in the morning. Not on that day, last week, Wednesday. I didn't pass a single shop as I drove from Coleshill all the way to Chateaubelair. I didn't find a single shop open. That's how slow the things are. That's what has happened to our economy. And nobody can tell me anything about previous administration because it was not so at no point last year. I came from the UK in April of last year. Came from the UK in April of last year. So I don't know what happened January, February, or March. Although I was here, I think I was here, was it in, which was it, boy? I was here for a few days, I think was it February or whatever, and I went back up and came back down. Went back up to get my stuff and came back down. So I don't know what, but I know from the time I came back, I would never saw this type of slowdown, this type of drag in our economy at any time last year. And this is what our vote has done. This is what our votes have given rise to. An economy that is limping along. It needs resuscitation. And the members of the New Democratic Party cabinet are too busy looking backwards. And that's the problem. If you're driving your car, but you're focusing the side view and rearview mirror, you ain't seeing where you're going, you're swerving all over the road. You have no control. Missing this because I want to point out the difference. Because I know there are some people who they ain't too sharp upstairs. And I see it when I see the comments. And every now and again, every now and again, every now and again, I would tease by responding to a comment. I try not to respond to comments, you know. Every now and again, I'll tease to respond to, and just to see, just for the fun of it. Let me see what they go and say. And after one response, I was okay, see, last cast, forget that, move on. Because I do not get in. Yeah, for those of you who follow, you realize that I don't engage in any back and forth with nobody on social media. Nobody. Go and find any post where I engage with a tit for tat back and forth with, and I don't engage with nobody. Even when they come under my thing, I don't engage you. Because the truth is, too many individuals who come under my post don't have the brain power to engage me. And I don't want some arrogant. A man come, oh, where were you all the time when Ralph was raising tax on poor people? I ask, which tax are you talking about? Let me know, please, so I can explain. Because I'm not sure. Person train some more and so on and go, oh, the tax we raised from 12 to 16%. Now, which tax did the government raise from 12 to 16%? So I supposed to respond to that rubbish? That dotishness? Which tax did Labour raise from 12% to 16%? So from the time I asked her one question, and then the post responded with that brainless comment, I realized, okay, Sian left that. Left that. I don't engage them. I don't engage them. I rather, because too many of them playing bright, they don't. I rather go down Batland Glass or down Clay Valley or wherever and sit down and talk and laugh and just chat with people. And those individuals are genuine. They ask you genuine questions. They ask you genuine questions and we talk. The bots on Facebook, not get involved in that. Because Facebook make a bunch of people feel they behind a keyboard and they could probably put in a thing in Chat GPT and Chat GPT spit out the answer, give them, and they copy and paste it in to sound bright. I ain't getting involved in that with you. No. A man come on one of my posts and call me stupid and fool. He don't know me. He don't know me. Call me stupid, he call me fool. But that's the response when they realize, first of all, it's the acknowledgement that, okay, I can't engage this person on their level. So let me stoop a little bit and get personal. And I realized that. So why go engage you for? I don't shot. If I stoop, no, I'm not stooping with you. You're on your own. You're on your own. You're on your own. No, they're tagging me all the time. Well, the good thing with me is that I do allow them to I have to approve tags. So they could tag till the blue. Nothing coming up on my page. Me have time with them. Because me have no time with them. They are having difficulty right now, to speak with any sense of confidence, to speak with any sense of assurance, to speak with any sense of pride about their party in government. Because all we've had so far is a long list of failures and failed promises. I promised I was going to do two things: talk about the economy and not leave and our calls, I look at call and tell them all they want, if you all feel like call. And if nobody call, I ain't going to stop. Y'all know, all your customers listen to me already, right? I'll let me go talk. So you all know, me and the bricks, I could talk from now till midnight. So if you want to call, you could call. The number is on the screen. They can't speak. When you come in, listen, when the ULP was in office, I spoke of the policies of the ULP. I called on the radio. Let me say radio. I called on the radio. Let me talk properly. Miss Marshall, I don't want to talk bad. I called on the radio and I announced who I am. Sehon Marshall, whether it's on Boom, Hot 97, wherever. I announced who I am. I made a comment on Facebook. I made that post of it. You know who I am. I'm speaking. And I could speak proudly about the record of Labour last year in power or this year in opposition. I can speak proudly. I don't need to hide or make a fake profile to talk about Labour. And nobody could say that I cussed them because of the party they supported. Nobody could say I call them dotish because they supported the NDP. Nobody could say I call them fool because they expressed their support for the NDP. Nobody. I don't have time to get personal. I will challenge you on the facts. I will challenge you on the policy. That's how I did my thing. And so when I talked about the NDP, I talked about the NDP previously to show where we've come. I talked about the fact that when we took office in 2001, we had 4 teachers in primary, 4 graduate teachers in primary school. Now we have hundreds. That was the only context within which I spoke of the NDP. And the NDP themselves did that. They talked about the good old days. I remember Ken King saying that the majority of the big houses in this country were built under the NDP by farmers. Rubbish. But he said it. I didn't call Kingston and call him a fool. I didn't go on the radio and say Kingston dotish. No, I went and I said to Kingston, you couldn't be more wrong. I said, yes, there was select farmers, the bigger banana farmers who were able to do certain things, absolutely. But the majority of homes in this country today, the big houses, were built by public servants who got 100% mortgage because of the policy of this government. I don't have to hide my face to talk about the point. And even now, as NDP is in office and they stand tall with 14-1, I will stand up in front of any one of them and I will hold that record of Labour up proudly. I'll have to hide. But behind them is the most, I must check the post on them. President, please, and they say, I must check the post on them. Look at the amount of fake profile under the, and the outer place, the abusive, the disrespectful, and the cussing. You have 14-1 government and you cussing me? With 1 seat? You have 14 seats I want and you cussing me? You're supposed to say, no, Sehon, come. Let me show you what progress looks like. Let me show you what good governance looks like. Let me show you. But you can't show me nothing, so all you could discuss me. I'm here to tell me that. Because I could tell you, the cussing might have been able to distract people from the real issues. But they could only do that for so long. At some point in time, you have to give the people who you voted for something to hold on to. You have to reward their votes. And I'm not talking about personal rewards. I'm talking about the fact that you have to grow the economy. I am talking about the fact that you have to create opportunities. The young people who voted for you, they're looking for the jobs. Listen, I know of jobs. 1 job, singular. Many jobs, plural. NDP say, listen, we ain't dealing with singular, plural. We're going to provide jobs. So they're going to provide jobs, plural. They weren't going to provide a job, singular. They're going to provide jobs, jobs, jobs. It's 6 months. It's 6 months. Where are they? Where are they? Previously, Dr. Friday spoke about the growth of the economy and growing the economy and how they know what to do to grow the economy. He said it. He said they have a plan to grow the economy. Excuse me. Friday say the NDP has a plan to grow the economy and create jobs, jobs, jobs. Well, he was speaking at a regional conference recently, and I came across a poster from the office of the Prime Minister. I'm the director of the poster. Because there was something in the poster that caught my eye. And I have four, eh? I ain't seeing it, director. I ain't seen the image. I have four eye. Me eye them. In dialect, in English, you say I singular, eyes plural. So you would say my eyes are burning me. That's in English. But in dialect, you say me eye them. Me eye them. That is the plural. Them. So me are for them. Me eye and them. Something call me eye them. Now me eyes. Me eye them. Call four. Friday said growth is unsustainable. Look the thing there. Why watch that? Growth is unsustainable if it leaves vulnerable populations behind. Growth is unsustainable if it leaves vulnerable populations behind. What does that mean? I was listening to Camilo the other day. When was it? What did it be? Was it Monday? Camilo say he took a speech and with the relevant and appropriate prompts, he put it in ChatGPT and so on, and ChatGPT point out certain phrases and comments that it saw and suggested were AI. This is probably one of those AI statements. Growth is unsustainable if it leaves vulnerable people behind, populations behind. That's what it means. What it means. What it means. One of the things that our government did previously was to ensure that the most vulnerable people were targeted. That is why you had no income homes, That is why you had the increase in the public assistance, That is why you have a non-contributory pension, I tell you, there are people who weren't following, There are people who weren't following and weren't paying attention. So they may not have an idea as to the way the previous administration strengthened the safety net for the most vulnerable, That's why you had home help for the elderly. That's why you had the Lives to Live program. Ask this current administration, what is the status of the Lives to Live program? These were all things put in place by the previous administration to make sure you strengthen the safety net for the most vulnerable, making sure that you elevate people out of poverty. And we come in with a ChatGPT AI formulated statement, but growth is unsustainable if it leaves vulnerable population behind. What are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? And so far, we are watching you. We are watching you, and we can't say for sure what you are do. We can't say for sure what you're going to do because you don't even know what you're going to do. You don't even know what you're going to do. So you have an economy that is lagging. I hope, thank you, director, could move that. I hope Kishore could come back and tell us how much closer we are to St. Lucia 1 year in. Hear me? I hope Dr. Shallow can come and tell us how close we have gotten to St. Lucia. Because according to me, we were 30 years behind St. Lucia just last year, according to Kishore Shallow. St. Vincent was 30 years behind St. Lucia last year. I wonder how close we are to St. Lucia now. The statistics, human development, and so on, told a different story. But Dr. Shallow, he bright. He bright like him. Me not PhD, me not Dr. Marshall, me name Sehon Marshall. His statistics that he shared, not sure where he got them from, said that we were 30 years behind St. Lucia. I had some friends who went to Antigua recently. These people were part of the police force back in the 1980s. So they left Antigua back in the 1980s. And going back to this year, they say, listen to me, Antigua looks the same or even worse than it did in the 1980s. I don't know. I never really went. I went to Antigua Airport. That's it. Our uncle living there. I need to talk to my uncle and maybe go up to visit him for a few days. So I can see what Antigua has to offer. How close are we to St. Lucia now? With a lagging economy. With a dead economy. With an economy that essentially is putting people on the brink of starvation. Because, as somebody said yesterday, when I was living in Chinatown, one person said, well, you gotta give them a year. The man said, a year? Say, boss, if this continue for much longer, a violence I cause, because they go thief. A violence I cause. This cannot continue for much longer. And I know I run down the clock plenty. So let me pivot to North Leeward now. Last year, not last year, because I was still press secretary. So this must have happened 2023, 2022, 2023. There was discussions about a proposed quarry in North Leeward. And a company from St. Lucia, Renault, was the proposed entity that was going to do the quarry. Now, I'm going to have to speak carefully because someone reached out to me yesterday and said I was wrong on almost all points in my present pleas. So let me be very careful in how I say this. But I'm still looking into it. I was presented with information. I was press secretary at the time. I was given an EIA that was done by Dr. Murray. And I was told that this EIA done by Dr. Murray was updated for the site. Now, I was told yesterday that that's not true, that the area that Murray did the EIA for was not the site that Reno had. And it was outdated. But at the time, the information was given, and up until yesterday, the information said that this EIA was done, Environmental Impact Assessment, EIA, and that study that was done by Dr. Murray years prior was revisited and updated for the purpose of the Reno operations. Those operations were approved by the planning board and the operation was to begin. People in North Leeward did not like the fact that this was going to happen in their backyard. And they spoke of the environmental situation, the river, the dust, and so forth. Farmers were displaced, and that's the word I'm going to use. I'm going to use the word displaced. Right? They had the land, they were compensated for the land or given other lands, but I'm going to use the word displaced. I'm going to use the word. It may not be the right word, but I'm going to use it anyway. Farmers were given lands, compensated and so on, compensated for the crops, and moved from the area for the quarry. There was objection. There was objection to the quarry by a host of people, some of whom supported the Labour Party government. Some of whom supported the Labour Party government. They objected to the quarry. Some of the bigger, the most out-front people in the quarry, objecting to the quarry, were people I know. My cousin, Dean Stevens, by the name as Banner, my cousin, my second cousin. Adonis Charles, we taught together, former principal. Somebody that they call Cleary, everybody know Cleary, I can't remember his proper name, and so on. There were people who were very vocal about what they considered to be the impact, the negative impacts of this operation in North Leeward. Now, these individuals whose name I called are Shatter people, Leeward people. So they had legitimate interest in what was happening. Now, whether or not some of them were using politics, I am not getting into that because they're from Leeward. But next thing you know, NDP reached down there. And the NDP now is opposing the operations by the same individuals who I just called. I believe that they co-opted the legitimate concerns of the residents of North Leeward and they politicized it. They politicized it to stop the thing from happening. It went ahead anyway. It employed people from North Leeward. My niece is working there, other people are working there, and so forth. The project went on. They objected to a kind of jetty that was being made where they put stones there and then put sand on the jetty. And even Dr. Thompson was saying, but that would be a good habitat for fish to come in between the rocks and so on and so on. All of those discussions. Me, marine biologists and so on. So we can't speak to those things. But those are so many things put forward. Now, there is an operation in North Leeward, in the Wallaby River, around Richmond area, around the so. And in some ways, it is dissimilar because it's not a quarry. It is not a quarry. A lot of silt and so forth came down from the volcano, from the river, piled up. And I don't know exactly what the operation entails, but you have heavy equipment wrong there. And they are building a similar jetty just across the way with the stone and the sand and so forth. The exact type of jetty that Reno built that people objected to. What is interesting is this. As I said, I spoke to somebody yesterday who said that the thing come political. But in a show, I said to the person, I don't know why you would say it's political. Because the same individuals who are against the Reno project are the same people who are against this project. I see Dean, I see Banner posting. I mean, the same individuals who are up front in their objection. Remember my partner Dennis take a speedboat, a rowboat in Djibouti and go out and take a film and so forth. It's the same people whose voices I'm hearing. Now, I said in my present please that there was no consultation and there was no EIA. I was told that's not true. There was a consultation and there is an EIA. Well, nobody that I talked to so far in North Leeward could tell me anything about the consultation. Nobody. Nobody who I talked to so far could tell me anything. Well, maybe they didn't go. Maybe I'm talking to the wrong people and they didn't go. And I was told there was an EIA. I went on the Facebook page of the entity I'm told is responsible for it, and there's no EIA on it. So maybe I need to call the entity and ask for a copy of the EIA. Because that's public. If you tell me there's an EIA, then I should get a copy of it. There's no point in telling me that you have an EIA, Environmental Impact Assessment Study, and it's unavailable, nobody can get it. So I'm just supposed to take it what there's one, but I went on the Facebook page and I didn't see one. I'm not saying there isn't one there. I'm looking. Maybe I need to go deeper. Or eventually just call the entity and ask, can I have a copy? Can you mail me a copy of the EIA for what is happening in Richmond? But the long and short of it is this, that the NDP, along with the same voices that are talking now, objected to Renault. The same voices talking now, the NDP walked along with them and objected to Renault. Or rather, the NDP took over their movement, co-opted it, and made the objection to Renault purely political. Now, they are accusing you of doing something the same, and they are upset with you for turning your back on them. So far, I have not seen the ULP in opposition go to North Leeward and seek to co-opt the people's concerns and politicize it. I've seen on Facebook my cousin Travis Harry, and for those of you who never heard me say that before, they must be late because if you listen to this already, you have to me say Travis and my family, yeah, Harry, my father Harry, and my family. You see Travis gone in speedboat, you buy coals from man, give man that kind of money. But probably Travis boy, give a change, you know. Travis on a speedboat, you see a big Chinese trawler thing, whatever it be, badger, whatever it is, the man fishing and so on. Travis set up drone. The same Travis who did similar things for Renault. And my contention is that they are saying of the same party that use them politically to object to Renault, they're saying to that party, where is the information regarding this? Where's the EIA? Why haven't we seen it? Who are the people? What are they doing? Where is the aggregate going? What is happening? They are asking the same questions they ask. But Travis was making a very good point. In his last video, he was saying, at least the last government, even if it was a old EIA, they presented one, they spoke to the media, they told it was Renault, ministers went down there. I remember going down there with a team of ministers. I remember that too. Dr. Gonzalez Swan went down there. I remember that. So there was discussion at all levels regarding the Renault situation. People objected. And the same people are saying now to the New Democratic Party, regardless of what others want to say, they're saying to the Democratic Party, listen, you ain't giving information. We hearing nothing. Why are you doing the same thing to us that you campaigned with us against when the ULP was in office? Where's the transparency? Where's the openness? Where? And nobody said nothing. I have not gone to North Leeward to look at that project, and I probably would not go. Probably would never go. I went to the Renault site multiple times as press secretary with ministers, with delegations. I see what they were doing. But for fear of, and I quote the Renault development, but me want nobody say I play in politics with what's happening over Wallaby River. So I stayed away from that. And I'm watching to see how the government of this country addresses the concerns of the people of North Leeward, because while they were in oppositions, they pretended to be concerned about the same people with similar concerns in the similar area. And I think that's the contention. That's my contention. You acted one way in opposition, and now in government, you seem to be turning away from your principle. That's not the right word because they're in principle, from your position that you held while in opposition. That is how the individuals who walked along with you are feeling. It's not me. When I raised it on present, please, I raised the concerns of people who spoke to me. I raised their concerns. And their concern is that you were with us when we objected to Renault. And now we are objecting to this, but you're not even giving us an A. I heard Travis talk about how many letters were written and delivered to the office of the Prime Minister. None of them answered. But in opposition, they didn't just answer and they never wait for a letter. They reached for choose to a meeting. They reached for choose to a meeting. Well, I would love to see how this turns out. You have aggregate. We're doing construction. Remember when we said that the aggregate from Reno, we're going to build roads and the port and so on and so on. People objected. We said we need the aggregate for all them things there. People objected. They said that's environmental. And this is the same people are saying now. And clearly, the individuals who are speaking are not happy with the level of consultation that you had. You may well be right, I don't know. You may well be right that there was consultation. As I said, I can't find nobody who been to this consultation. I can't find nobody who was at this consultation who can say to me, yes, Sehon, we had a consultation. I was there. I can't find nobody. Can't find nobody. Can't find nobody. And my very limited search thus far has not discovered an environmental impact assessment study. So maybe I have to redouble my efforts. Ooh, that cold. Sorry. But that is where we are. That, my friends, is where we are. Now, maybe what is happening in North Leeward is probably to drive some economic activity in North Leeward, but from what I saw on Travis's page, no North Leeward people in the boat. I don't know who's operating the heavy equipment. And Vincentians don't know what's going on. According to Travis, there are Asians on the boat. There's so many things he said, and some of it I wouldn't repeat because I don't know if it's true. But I saw the people on the boat, on the video. And there are many questions. Is that what 14.1 is all about? Is that why Vincentians gave you a 14.1 mandate? So you can run roughshod over them, run from questions, Doha no press conference, Doha Parliament. Since June, you know. Since June. Out of the budget, I believe I could be wrong, but I think it's two sittings there or one. Eh? No parliament now keep. So we could ask about the fiscal outturn. So we could ask about the quarry. Sorry, not quarry. The situation in Waliabu, Waliabu, with the heavy equipment over there. What is happening? Who the problem be? Where it going? No questions. Being, being encouraged. As a matter of fact, when they talk, what tell you shut up? When they talk, people will tell you to shut him out. Well, by now, I think most individuals who have tried, and many of them have, by now have realized that, hey, I can't shut up Sehon Marshall, you know. The boy will not be intimidated. The boy for Fodger and Tallow will not be intimidated. It don't matter what y'all try. And as a matter of fact, I can tell you that if anything, you motivate me. I used to do, don't forget it, I used to do one show. I used to do one show once a week called Uplift with Sehon Marshall, this show here. And an individual on social media made a post and called me to the front. Well, the truth is, I've never been the kind of person who sat at the back. Never. I have never been the kind of person who sat at the back. Ever. At school, I sat towards the front. I might not have been in the front row, but at least in the second row. Sat up front in the class. At church, I sat up front. As a young leader in the church growing up. And anybody who taught me will tell you, the boy for Fodger always had a head on his shoulder. I used to talk plenty. I always had a head on my shoulder. Somebody coming to the front. But they miscalculated and they didn't realize that I am comfortable in front. You see, the call to the front was an intimidatory tactic. The call to the front was expected to intimidate me. But little did they know that I'm used to being in front. I am comfortable in front. I am comfortable offering leadership because that's what happens when you're in front. It's interesting that those who always sat at the back, the dunce, the easily distracted, those who didn't know homework, didn't contribute, couldn't answer a question, in the back are now calling people who are comfortable in front, who have lots to offer in front. Because when Sehon Marshall puts up his hand to a question, when Audrey Gilles puts up her hand to a question, when Fitzhuggins puts up his hand to a question, when Augustine Fordner puts up you get an answer. And even if the answer isn't absolutely correct, you will get an answer that you can work with and you can build on. One that is logical, well thought out, sensible. Not the backwardness that you get and now want to be prevailing from those who always sat at the back, never listened, never learned, and always were distracted. And I want them in the conversation now. So, what was designed to intimidate Sehon Marshall, and it's being used in an attempt to intimidate others, was actually a call that I am absolutely comfortable with. Because I have no problem being in front, as I've never been one to sit in the back. I've never been one to lag behind and look to others for leadership. I'm comfortable in front. I'm comfortable being part of the thought leadership. Comfortable. And that is why a bunch of them can only try to attack people personally, because they do not possess the mental and logical abilities to engage you on substance. I'm afraid none of them. They can't intimidate me. I know that I'm taking up my seat in the front row. Them a ball. Them a ball. Comrades, what viewers, it's amazing how a phrase, it's amazing how a phrase that is so harmless, that's so pure, that's a sign of manners in our society, drives fear to many who support the New Democratic Party. The phrase of just two words, present please. They afraid it. Whenever they hear it, they tremble. They tremble because they know another hard-hitting commentary is on its way, and they can't deal with it because they have no answer for it. Simple, pure, pleasant, present please. And it will continue. It will continue. Going forward. Somebody just said, we used to have regular updates about what is happening in the island. Now we ain't getting none. You could update on nothing. Eh? You could update on nothing. Predominantly, oi. So, yes, predominantly. You realize. I'm going to end just now. Don't worry, I'm going to end just now. I realize that they start hot. Oh, the Friday report. The Friday report. Every Friday. We had two. Like Friday last report book. Hey, like Friday last report book. So I can't get no Friday report. You know, pick the nigga who, when the term done and they fail and they go home, where report book? Teacher not give me report book now. Me not give me report. They can't find the report book because they can't carry it home with their parents because what the Indian are good. Friday report. You remember? I've been supposed to get a report card for 6 months. Remember that? And it's like, it's cancelled. It's canceling press conference for the 6 month report. Right, the last report book. What a man. What a man. What a government. They're afraid to come to the people to tell them this is what we've accomplished. Why? Because, like old Mother Hubbard, if they go to the cupboard, they'll find nothing there. And so that is why the Friday report has been lost. And so we can't know. In our come to we and bring a report. In our come to we and bring a report for REC. So after 2, Friday report. That's it. no longevity, no consistency. You know, make commentaries I've done. I ain't do 100 and something like Farm Boy, but I close. Since I started back up late the week after elections, I might have missed two, three maximum. Even when I traveled, I did up late. That's consistency. That's discipline. But a man when in a country, a whole government, 14-1, when a country can't deliver a report on a Friday. Anyhow, let me come go me there. My viewers, thank you so much for being with us tonight on another episode of Up Late with Sehon Marshall. Let me, Cornis, Cornis is afraid hard. Cornis, I know what afraid, but the report stopped come. Let me thank you so much for sticking around for this another edition, for the June 4th edition of Up Late with Sehon Marshall. I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for engaging. Many of you who commented on the live, thank you so much. Those who shared, thank you so much. And again, I have to keep reminding all you, send the little contributions to Zelle. Zelle them. If you didn't send me any little envelope, that's all right. I gotta take it. But let me keep the program going. Let me keep we foot on the pedal. Let me keep the momentum going. Let me keep the momentum going. Let us see that Labour is alive and well. That those of us who supported the progress of the Labour Party, who supported the development agenda of the ULP, who supported the vision, the ingenuity, the intuition of the ULP, are still here, standing strong. I will come back, but we need your help. Up Late needs your help to keep the program alive. So send your contributions, all right? Go for it. Small, large, medium, we accept them all. Until next week, when I'm back with you, God's willing, with another edition of Up Late with Sehon Marshall. Let me say, have yourself a fantastic night and a great weekend.